It's once again time for this week's CEO's blog. John, thanks for joining me. Let's talk about Tamworth. I believe you are up there on the weekend.
Yes, Amanda, Rod Smith and Chris Edwards and I travelled up. They actually did the Maitland Intercity Pace the night before, and that was a terrific meeting. But we met with the Show Society, the people we're purchasing the Tamworth Showground from, and also the club, and just went through the preliminaries of where we need to be for settlement on February 1.
Okay, let's talk about Wagga, different direction. We'll go from north to south.
Yeah, both ends of the state, we're everywhere. But with Wagga, for the people that need to know and for the people who want to know, the fact is that as at this next Monday, the tenders will finally close on the Wagga project. I've been in conversations with the council in this last week, and we're very confident that work will start in February. But it's all go ahead. I can let you know that also that the lights have been supplied by Musco, and they're on the water and ready to be delivered to Sydney. So Wagga's moving along at our speed, but at the right speed.
Okay, well, we'll go from south to west. Let's talk about Orange.
Towak Park. It was the feel around what we did last Friday out at Towak Park, where we had actually 6 horses trial on the track. Prior to that, we trialled 2 and 3, but it was good. Steve Turnbull, Amanda and Mitch and the rest of the crew there supplied the horses, as did Kel Winnell, the leading trainer in Orange. He and Frank McRae are really behind this. The council's behind us racing at Towak Park. Racing New South Wales wants to give us some support. And as at this morning, I was speaking with Tabcorp and Sky Channel, and they want to make a feature of the racing on grass at Towak Park, harness racing. And it's it's not a novelty. It is the way forward for Orange. So it's all thumbs up, and we're looking forward to it.
It's great to hear. All right, well, while we're in the West, let's talk about Elvis.
Elvis is tonight at Parks. The festival, it's massive. Anybody that hasn't been to Parks, not so much for the harness racing, but for the Elvis celebrations, their eyes will certainly be opened wide. But the Parks Club have their meeting tonight, and it's a tremendous event each year. Massive crowd. That's the biggest crowd of the year for Parks. So we wish them well, even though it's going to be very warm. I would suggest those white jumpsuits that the people will be wearing, the entire committee, I believe, of the Parks Harness Racing Club, or at least their resident photographer, and Norman will be wearing the Elvis suit. I think it's the later stages Elvis, not the trim Elvis, but he does a great job with his coverage of Parks. But it's about enjoying the night. It's about enjoying harness racing, and anyone out there in the West might be a little bit hot. Yes, you can sit at home and watch it on television, but there's nothing like being at the track.
Well, now you put it that way, I wish I was out there to see Norm in action. Well, look, we're heading all over the state now. Let's talk about Tamworth.
Jane Walker and her crew, John New and Ray and the rest, they're meeting, their Carnival Cups meetings this Saturday. Terrific meeting, but what is special about this meeting, they've expanded on their train trip. Now, they've hired a train to travel all the way from Griffith to Tamora and return for the night's racing. I'm not sure whether there's still seats on that train, but it's something different. It brings people together. It's a reasonable trip, but it's on a comfortable train, and you can talk harness racing to your heart's content on that trip. So tomorrow, a great meeting, good fields. So yes, if you get to Parks and get to Tamora, you'll see some of the best harness racing there is.
That's good. All right, let's talk about the UHRA AGM.
Yeah, well, there was a bit of an error made. I won't say by whom, but we had the date wrong. So the correct date for the UHRA annual general meeting is next Wednesday, the 18th. It's at Tabcorp Park, Menangle. It starts at 6:30. So members, and you must be a member of the UHRA to attend their annual general meeting, should be there. Plenty to talk about. This is a very important part of the industry, a very important organisation. It needs to be well represented, and it needs to have the views of all. So I recommend to members of the UHRA that they make next Wednesday night, 6:30. No trials at Penrith that night, of course. That's the night they should be there, and they should have their say. select or get a committee in place and take it forward with what is important to the industry, and that's a good working relationship between the horsemen and the stewards and, of course, the controlling body, Harness Racing New South Wales.
Yeah, well, for those that don't know, the UHRA is an association for the trainers and drivers.
It is, and they have a real voice. But to have a real voice, you have to actually say something and be well represented, and they have been in the past, and we want that to continue into the future.
Okay, well, last week we made mention of a news segment within this segment, What's Happening, and I had plenty of emails come through within the week, and particularly this one from John Crittenden, which he wants to pose this question to you, John. As we approach the 50th running of the esteemed Miracle Mile on Saturday, 25th of February, can you advise what's happening to assist persons from the city, country, provincial and regional New South Wales to attend the event through and or with assistance of all Harness Racing New South Wales clubs and Harness Racing New South Wales?
Well, can I start with... this seems a bit like a Dorothy Dix, Crito, so I don't know who put you up to the question, but the question is relevant. Between Harness Racing New South Wales and the club, the principal club, we have plenty happening, but to be direct with your answer, there are promotions being run on course at all the tracks that race between earlier in December right through until February 18. So I suggest people go to the track, enter the competition, it's all free, and the winner will actually receive something worth $400 as far as getting a bus ride to the Miracle Mile. Plenty of giveaways once they get there, and so that's one thing we're doing. Lots of other things that we're doing in relation to celebrating this 50th Miracle Mile, and I'm sure in the next couple of weeks we'll roll those out. A DVD of the 49 Miracle Miles is being put together. It will be something worth having. It's taken a fair bit of work because we've needed employ the services of Graham McNeese to collect all those races. We've needed the services of John Tapp and Power Productions to put this all on one DVD. It'll be something that people will want, I hope, and will reminisce on all 49 Miracle Miles that have been conducted so far. So that should be out before the carnival starts. Many other things that will be on Sky Channel in particular, Trots TV, but they'll roll out over the next couple of weeks. But Crito, you're Dorothy Dix, we are doing something, but I still say people should make their own arrangements, get to the track, enjoy harness racing at its very best. The premier race in Australasia, the Miracle Mile, will be conducted on the 25th of February, a Saturday night, at Tabcorp Park, Menangle, so everyone should be there. But there were other questions, quite a few other questions. Why didn't I answer those? Well, if we don't receive as many going forward, we will come back to those ones already submitted, and they are relevant. There was one with regard to minimum bets from bookmakers. We're working on that and trying to come up with what is the sensible way of going forward, and etc. So those questions, please keep sending them in to you, Amanda, and I'll do my very best to answer them intelligently.
Okay, well, one more thing before I let you go. It's January 11, so do you know what that means?
January 11, does that mean anything to me?
Well, it's 1 month till the Sky Racing Carnival of Miracles kicks off at Menangle.
Really? Well, there you go.
Yeah, it kicks off on February 11. Anyway, thanks for that, John. We'll catch up next week.
Certainly, Amanda.